Well, good evening once again. Last week, we began asking the question, what do you think of when you hear the words, an incredible life? And has that question come to you since you last met with your group and you thought about that? Also, we talked about self discipline and how important it was for us to be self disciplined and to enjoy an incredible life. For us to enjoy this incredible life, it has to begin with us. And it needs to start early. Some things are so easy to put off, and this can be one of them. So it's important that we start earlier because the earlier, the better. I consider self discipline the most important discipline for character in a person's life that will give them the success and help them reach the potential they can possibly reach. Our two words for this week is start early. If you're going to be better self-disciplined, I would encourage you to start early. And so brings up a good question. How do we start early? Well, let's go to our scripture that we're using. Again, it's Galatians chapter 5, verses 19 through 26. And, this week, instead of me reading it, I'm going to say have someone in your group read. Okay? Just have someone get out a Bible or their phone and read Galatians chapter 5, verses 19 through 26. Just stop right now and do that. There's the story of a father who made his sons work in the cornfields while their peers, their friends, spent the afternoon at the swimming hole. Someone kind of scolded the father, saying, "Why do you make these boys work so hard? Why you don't need all that corn." The wise father replied, "Sir, I'm not raising corn. I'm raising boys." Another story, just to kind of give us a little laughter, and our children need that from time to time. A mother put her two young children to bed and then got ready for bed herself. She put on some old clothes, she washed her hair, and wrapped a towel around her head to dry her hair. She applied cold cream on her face to remove her makeup. And just as she was about to wipe the cream from her face, she heard the noise of her children playing in their room when they should have been in their bed asleep. She stormed into the room and sent the kids back into their beds, turned out the lights and slammed the door. And as she left the room, one of the children asked the other, "Who was that?" There's an old saying that we don't hear much anymore, and it goes like this: pay now or pay later. If you're with someone, if you're with a group or you're with someone, just stop right now and talk about this question. There's going to be two. It's going to be two questions, two separate questions. Here's the first one. If we are going to be better self-disciplined, why is it important to start now, to start early? And what does that phrase, pay now or pay later, mean to you? And question number two goes right along with it. In Hebrew, a bull represents strength. The word house represents a father. How important, parents, grandparents, is it for the children to see strength in self-discipline in your daily walk with God? Just a thought. Do you have any comment on that? We've forgotten in our day and time that there's no such thing as a free lunch. Oh, we think we're getting by, but one day it'll all catch up with us. And I think what we're seeing in the United States today, especially this year, with all that's been going on, many things have changed and many things will continue to change. I've heard a lot of people talking about that, and I think you have too. Let's stop here for a moment and ask a question. With the virus and the riots and the hate and the unrest in our nation, how has that changed your life and your family? And I say that because it's affected everyone of every age. And so what are you doing to help you and your family get through all this? And how has your relationship with God changed? And what do you say to your children, family, and friends when this question comes up? Discipline. I don't think we ever outgrow that word, and I'm not sure that's the most that's a word we're most fond of. And we probably really don't love that word. Discipline. Just think about it for a second. Discipline. We need to be teaching our kids discipline. But let me ask you, how disciplined is your life? Are you disciplined in putting time aside when it comes to reading the Bible and praying? Let's just stop and ask ourselves a few questions. How disciplined is your life? Be honest. Are you disciplined in putting time aside, like I said, when it comes to reading the Bible and praying? And do your children, do your grandchildren see you doing that? Be honest. If there are school-age children in the group, what about this one? When school starts back this fall, how disciplined are they in their homework? Or are you in your homework if you're watching kids? And how disciplined are you when it comes to your chores? Okay. And then a second question. Moms and dads, what about this one? How's your marriage? You either work hard on the front end and pay the price, do what you've got to do, and if you do it on the front end, here's the exciting part. Then you can play on the back end and really enjoy life. Let's pause and talk about that. And okay, let's wrap this up. Here's the bottom line of the self-discipline and starting early, starting now, and talking about this pay now or pay later. Whether you play on the front end or on the back end, there will be a time when you pay. You'll either play on the front end and you'll pay it someday in your life when you wake up and you will say, what have I done? I'm not the father I want to be. My kids are not what I wanted them to be. You'll wake up someday and you'll say, oh no, life debits the payment from me. And how true this is. If you pay later in life, the price is greater. Just look around at our nation today if you don't believe this. Just look around at your neighborhoods today if you don't believe this. Just look at crime in our country today if you don't believe this. Crime in your neighborhood. Just look at the family today if you don't believe this. If there's anything I suppose I could say to those who are young today, it's this. If you learn early in your life self-discipline, It is amazing the dividends that it will pay later on in your life. Start now, start early, start with yourself. Well, hey, God bless you. Have a great time in your group tonight, and just be honest. God bless you.